I'd like to call this meeting of the Palmyra-Eagle Area School District School Board to order at 7:06, our August monthly meeting. Could we have the roll call?
Michael Eddy.
Here.
Christiana Williams.
Here.
Zach Rakowski.
Here.
Doris Parsons.
Here.
Jane Reed.
Here.
Mitzi Rashevsky.
Here.
And Tara Leroy's gone.
Tara Leroy, yes, is absent.
Is absent.
Take note of that. Reading of the district mission statement. To ensure that students excel with intellect and virtue inspired by innovative educators who engage and challenge each individual. Would you all join me for the pledge? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I will second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Public comment. We did not receive any via email, correct? Is there any public comment here? Alrighty. Move on to board monitoring. A is administrative and board members workshop schedule. So basically what we've been hearing is that it's important for us to have some type of meeting or workshop or work session between board members and administrative staff so we can kind of get on the same page with what we'd all like to happen flow-wise between the two groups, such as what types of information board members would like to get and what would be the time frame of getting that information that we would be expecting. And we want administrators to let board members, the board as a whole, know what's helpful to you as far as what information you'd like, just so that we can kind of know we're all on the same page before monthly board meetings. When some things come up and some people are like, oh wait, we thought you were going to do this and we thought the board approved this. So I think it would be really good. There's finally a little bit going on with WASB training, and I'm sure WASDA training and all of that, but we haven't had that. So if we could come up with perhaps a couple hours, either on probably a weekday evening or late afternoon, before school starts, and have that happen. And I talked to Todd about this a little and Brad about this a little, and I think especially with changes in the district office, it'll just be really helpful in moving us all forward so that there's no surprises at meetings and things like that. So I asked Brad to put this on here so we can see if anybody else has any interest, suggestions, and we can actually come up with a date. So I'll leave that open.
I think it was pretty thorough how you described it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we just kind of run through the basics of,
Okay,
yeah.
so we're good with that.
Can we also include like some sort of goals or vision? I know not a strategic plan, but something,
Well,
because Doris just
maybe-
explained it as
Maybe
communication.
some, what I would call some strategy, both operational and academic for the year.
I think that
it'd
would
a
be
good idea.
perfect.
Yeah, I'm starting to pull some things together on that. The operational was a little easier than the academic, but I think once we have everyone here in the next few weeks, we can pull that together too.
Maybe pre-meeting, everyone who's attending can shoot their ideas of, I really think expanding our foreign language or student test scores being higher is more important, or whatever people,
Yeah.
so we can kind of have all those things and know where people are coming from. Okay, any suggestions on dates, times? Days of the week that seem to work for board members are Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
What about the 24th?
I'm
That's
good.
a Tuesday, right?
Yeah, it's a Tuesday.
Yeah, I can do a Tuesday. All right, I can do it.
I can
Are
do it.
you talking afternoon or?
What, I did like 4 or 5?
The 24th isn't a meeting.
No, 24th.
You're talking August 24th.
Yes.
Yeah.
What, okay, what time?
5:30?
Or 5.
Does that work a little earlier?
Well, I don't have to
It should, yeah, I just
I'm
want,
okay with whatever you guys. Yeah, I can try and make it
just set the time that works for everybody, because, you know, I'm gonna be really late at 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Katie, when do you guys?
Well, I was gonna say, teachers come back that day, when we'll be here, so, you know, but just kind of a heads up, that's like the first back to school week for all of us, so, it might get a little hectic.
Or we could push it off the week, 31st.
August
And that's the night
18th.
before school, don't
That's,
be
what about Monday the 23rd?
We can do that too.
I'm not sure yet, but, yeah, maybe that would work. That might work. I can just shift some other things around.
You guys are all right with Monday the 23rd? Okay, and
Is our admin team gonna be okay with it?
Yeah, because that's just new teacher day, so we'll be here, that's fine. It's
Okay.
a much later day.
For the 23rd?
I'm open for time. Like, you guys are open?
I set a time and I'll make it if I can,
What time, Katie, what time do you think would be best?
Anytime really, like normal time, you guys can get like 6:30, that's fine.
Let's do 5:30.
5:30.
Let's do 5:30.
Okay, so 5:30, Monday, August 23rd.
See if somebody can cover
And I need your pen, but we'll keep moving on.
Do you want to put it in here?
Yeah, put it in the calendar.
Do you want to put it in this room?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Um,
put it in there.
and then are you thinking like reoccurring or like topic orientated or just kind of like discussion opportunities?
This would be discussion opportunities, but we come with an actual.
I think you have to have an agenda.
Yeah, we'll have an
Otherwise,
agenda
we-
of what topics we're gonna talk about that we could get out to everyone ahead of time, so that it's an efficient.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Yeah, so be thinking about that and, you know, share ideas and we can move forward with that. And that gives us enough time to at least come up with a good agenda instead of having it like next week.
We'll have to make sure we notice it too, because the whole board's here.
Yes,
Not that we're voting anything.
right, it would have to be posted.
Yeah.
Okay, B, food and supply bids for the 21-22 school year given by Annette.
She's not here, but she gave you some of the information, in the packet. I don't know if she was planning to be here, but I can see where it might have scared her off, but I think she's, you know, the milk bid Mapleton, a lot of districts in the state use Mapleton, they're pretty responsible, and it looks like they might have the best price. I don't know anything about the alderman, I don't know anything about that particular company.
We don't approve those bids,
No,
okay,
yeah, I'm just saying, these are,
she was just giving us
Yeah.
information.
yeah.
Okay,
Well, she would like to try
The
alderman.
If she wants, that's fine. I've never heard of them, I don't know how good they, I do know Mapleton is very good, and we do a lot of districts.
He's true, no, which I think is that count, I mean, no, it's true, it's not counts. The other one is counts.
okay, C, fundraiser rules with food service, that was in everyone's packet, the sheet that she had. I think that was also informative.
Yeah, it's just in case that we do have any fundraisers, that it has to be approved, so, but for food. So
And
it's
was
just the
that
rules
shared
are on.
with Carrie? Was that shared with?
Yes, yeah, she shared with everybody, yeah. So,
Does anybody have questions on that Brad can take back to Annette?
No, it seems pretty self-sufficient.
Yeah.
I went to the website, it looks like you just plug the data off the back of the
It was
package
just
and
more
it'll
of a-
literally tell you if it
Yeah,
approves
it was-
smart snack.
just to let everybody know, pretty much.
Yeah.
There wasn't much of a discussion about it, she just wanted to let everybody know about it, so.
Yeah.
Perfect. Committee reports. Tara is not here, but I believe Christiana was gonna give us a brief synopsis.
Sure. I don't even remember when we met. PR met on the 15th. They completed, as a committee, completed the WASB honor roll nominations, which were due think are due in like 2 days. But basically they were gonna go with Palmyra Public Safety, Eagle PD, Eagle Business Association, and then BP here in Palmyra as their 4 nominations. Our PR coordinator was gonna go ahead and submit those for us. Katie and Caitlin were working on a kind of a back-to-school promotion. We discussed rebranding EES with a possible name change. This was a very, very beginning conversation was had about different name ideas, things that would kind of go into this piece. Katie was gonna do some further investigating to see if there was something we had to do with like DPI to change the name, what this would look like. So she was gonna get all that and bring it back to the next PR. We also talked about the social media boosters and sports pages. Kind of discussed possibly, I think our simplest solution after discussion was just maybe speaking to them about making sure that the name of the page reflects that it's a booster or it's run by a parent rather than the actual school itself. As a school with our social media, we're required to kind of follow these rules and policies and things like that. And sometimes with the way the pages are named, it looks as if they are under us, but they are actually not. And some issues were kind of brought up about that. So we kind of figured that might be the quickest and easiest solution to the situations we were facing. And that is about it for PR.
Great. Thank you. HR committee, Jean.
Hi, HR meets after the PR, or actually we meet prior to the PR meeting at 4:30 on the 15th. We had an update on the hiring, and we did discuss some issues that have happened recently, and then Todd gave the suggestion that we can actually review and look at our board policy regards to board and how we're involved in hiring, and we're gonna pass this to CMP to set a policy of stating which positions we are considered key and where the board should have input or more input. We also discussed the updates on the employee handbooks. Todd is starting to oversee that, review what changes need to be made. We talked about the review of benefit enrollment and what were some of the issues that came up, how were we gonna try to not have those issues in the future, and one of those is because of some of the changes we've made in the business office. And then the last was the review of the current responsibility of the business office. Todd gave his plan, we talked through it, and then we recommended it to the full board, which there was the full board meeting where it was further discussed and approved. That's it.
All right, thanks, Jean. Curriculum policy. That's Christiana.
All right, so we discussed our 4K and 5K buses. That came back, this was the second time coming through the committee. It's more of a procedure rather than a policy. Katie and Todd and everybody worked with Blaine. They've come up with basically for 4K and 5K students and busing students, they're going to sit in the first couple of rows of the bus. Older children, if they're siblings, can choose to sit with them, but the little ones cannot go sit back by the older kids. It's just a way to keep an eye on the smaller children. They will not be released off the bus if the parent or designated individual. So the first couple of weeks of school this year, they're going to establish who this designated individual, whether it be an older sibling or a parent or a grandparent, things like that, will be, and then that will be the kind of flag to the bus driver to know that that child goes to that designated individual. If for some reason those designated individuals are not present at drop-off, the child will return back to school, where then administration will contact parents about picking up the kids. We talked about before and after school care is going to be held in Eagle only this year. It's the same fee, the same hours. Katie is still looking for a few more staff to kind of fill some of the positions there. but she's on it. The testing results, so I was told that state testing results came back late last week, so that would have been about 2 weeks ago. I was told that those results cannot be shared with anybody, including the board. And Carrie did go ahead and read the letter that was attached to the results. But basically, DPI said that they can't be shared until the school stores or the school state report cards come out, which is sometime in the fall.
Usually
No date
September.
actually provided, but that those scores would not be allowed to be shared with any of us until sometime after that date when they decide. So that's all I know. We talked about, so sorry, I've got too many minute notes going on here between two different committees. So we did talk about which, basically based off HR, which interview processes that we would like to see board members part of, and we kind of came up with just a basic list. I'm going to go ahead and draft something real quick and then bring it back to the next committee meeting. We also began to talk about onboarding for school board members, some of the basics there, and I'm also going to attempt to kind of lay some basics out and then bring it back to the committee next time around. There you go.
Thank you. Buildings and grounds, Michael.
Yeah, building and grounds, we met this evening, and I'll just kind of run it down. I continue to put air quality on my agenda, yet we approved it in May, so apparently I had a senior moment. I can promise it won't be on next month's agenda, so we're just gonna move on. I guess it happens. Food service, we had a lot of discussion around food service. This is a key piece for us in this district and the kids and the parents. Because we're a small district, we got a lot of no quotes from outsourcing. We continue to have some discussions with Whitewater, but I think based on where we ended up with this is that we'll be maintaining our own food service for this year. Can't reinforce the fact enough that we should audit our processes here to ensure the highest quality food for our kids. Capital budget, we continue to massage this thing and get towards October for final approval. A couple other things are up for, or a thing up for vote tonight is the EES remodel for the HVAC and what's going on in the EES building. Focus on energy, for some reason, it didn't get on the agenda for the board approval, but we'll move it to September for the board meeting for approval on our focus on energy. We had a discussion around digital signage. We all felt that, while very nice, coming so close coming out of the dissolution process that it's too soon. Doesn't mean that we can't seek local companies that would be interested in promoting some kind of digital signage for the schools, but at this time we're going to pass. Another thing we talked about was full-time versus part-time versus service. Right now, we're going to pursue part-time employees for cleaning, at least 2, if not more, if that's what's right for the buildings and the kids. And then lastly, we talked about remodeling the bathrooms here near the community room. We got quotes ranging from $222,000 to $87,000, which leads us to, let's get some more quotes and see where we end up. That'll be on the agenda for next month, which is in September. So, that's it.
Great, thank you. Finance Committee, Mitzi?
Finance Committee met tonight at 6 o'clock. Review of minutes from July and vouchers were accepted as presented. There was a discussion regarding 4K busing. We indicated that our preference would be for stipend and possibility of van as necessary rather than an entire bus route. Budget and expenditure review update was presented. Things are still up in the air following the audit without firm answers really from anyone. And the budget forecast I provided each of you, I believe, with assumptions, trends, and revenues. It looks like we have $1.1 million of ESSER funds, which we have to manage conscientiously. Our equalization estimate is about little over $500,000, which Todd feels comfortable with that number. Revenue control, there's a few factors there, but that looks like it'll be down under $500,000. He outlined some expenditure trends. One of the obvious ones, or a couple of the obvious ones, were the fuel, the health insurance, the opportunity for giving salary increases, and open enrollment tuition is going out. We're going to keep working on our open enrollment and keeping our students here. Katie shared with us very positive news that balancing out and in compared to from last year, we are only -1 student in the 4K and 5K area. We're continuing to work on partnerships and other grants, which I firmly appreciate. And that was what I'll discuss at finance committee.
Great, thank you, Mitzi. Administrators reports, we have Katie here. Do you have a report?
I have nothing to add outside of the committees, just that we are continuing, we're prepping for students. We're excited for open house in a few weeks. Teachers are itching to get back in. Construction's moving along beautifully, and I'm excited to see some solid enrollment numbers. So we're gonna keep on the families that maybe just haven't got into registration yet, and hopefully we'll start very positively in less than 3 weeks.
How many kids do you have so far coming into 4K?
4K, 100% registered, I have 36. So 36 families that have gone through. I have 9 that are on, like, they've started registration but haven't completed it. Usually it's the birth certificate that holds them up. They don't want to continue until they have the documents. And so it's just going up from there.
Your building got a very nice award with the invasive
Oh,
species.
yes,
That
I
was
apologize.
very cool.
The Nature Trail Association, and in conjunction with Eagle Elementary, we participated in a garlic mustard pull-a-thon for Southeast Wisconsin this year, and we won by leaps and bounds, which was absolutely fabulous. So the trophy was ours 2 years ago. It went away for a little bit. Now it's home again. And so I talked to Miss Weedman, and so at open house, she's gonna have a booth there with the trophy, and then we'll get to keep the trophy in-house till October, and then it'll travel to the library. So our trophy will be at full display, and it's this a really exciting thing, and all kids, kindergarten through 5th grade helped. So, so it was a great way to kind of end the year and do something really great for the trail that we use. So.
Thank you. I love these cream puff later.
Yeah.
I made them all over the tables.
Did a good
That's perfect. Can we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Action items, A, motion to consider to approve the elimination of offering the Medicare carve-out health insurance plan. We can get a motion in a second, and then I think people will probably have questions
I'll
from
make
Tom
a-
Brett.
I'll make a motion to consider approval of the elimination of offering the Medicare carve-out health insurance plan for retired staff eligible for Medicare.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
If there's 3 people, and it's brought to my attention from Shelley, because she's related to one set of those retirees, that if we take this away, they get a better deal than what our insurance is about.
I remember that too.
Yeah, so I don't
Thanks,
think
Kate.
Shelley would be doing this to her parents if it wasn't a good deal. But there's 2 others, which I don't recall right now, but basically, the idea is that they would then be eligible for a much less costly plan than our current plan.
And I'm guessing it's not a cost increase to us to do this.
It would probably be a cost savings, maybe.
That's what
And
I thought.
plus, you also take 3 potentially, adverse, people off the plan, so.
Any further questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Action item B, consider a motion to approve the pandemic mask policy to be consistent with rules adopted by the board last May.
I'll make a motion to consider the approval of the pandemic mask policy to be consistent with the rules adopted by the board per the May 2021 board regular meeting. Mask recommended but not required.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
We may, we kind of relaxed the social distancing, so we may have to kind of put some of that back in place, but we'll see. I mean, it's all over the place. A lot of Milwaukee suburban, districts. I think that lightning was maybe I was gonna say something, but and anyways, some of these districts are going full mask for everybody. I don't know that we're ready at that point. I think a lot of the districts around us, Jefferson County, are still either considering what to do or they're going recommended, not required. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see where this goes. But even Dr. Fauci now is worried about the long-term effects of masks on kids. So it changes almost daily. It literally almost changes daily. And we just have to try to keep up with it. And if there's a major issue, we've got that meeting on the 23rd, we could throw a resolution in there if we have to make any changes.
Reevaluate.
But at this point, I think we're probably doing what most of the districts in the state will be doing.
Do you think that we're going to have to keep the same COVID protocol, the rest of the measures, the quarantines and all?
Yeah, it was
contact
I
tracing,
have,
all that?
again, that is stuff that's all up in the air. A lot of these districts aren't doing contact tracing anymore. We might just because we're small enough to do that. But right now, I haven't heard where the quarantine is mandating or anything else. So like I said, it just changes on a daily basis. We had this call last week, Friday, and I'm guessing by this Friday, what we talked about will all have changed at some point for some reason.
Yeah, I thought we had some good processes in place to manage through the school year, and I think if we have very similar rules.
And I think we'll probably follow those for the time being. We may have to provide some virtual education, like I've talked about before, in case there's some parents who are adamant about kids being with masks, but,
Without redoing a new survey,
yeah.
do you think the appetite is the same as where we were in May coming into?
I would
compared to-
say, based on what I'm seeing around the state and around the country, the mask recommendation not required is probably the most prevalent issue parents are,
Yeah.
that's just what I'm seeing. I just saw that, I can't remember what district was, they were gonna have 300 people rally the board to make sure they go with this mask optional.
We had a very successful, we had no issues with summer school. And
No.
there were a
Correct.
large number of students, all our elementary kids. And
I just want to make sure that we would continue to adhere to whatever Jefferson County recommendations are, and that we still consider this a moving target, so to speak, something that we're continuing to address. While we don't have lots of cases of the Delta variant, Florida, which is extremely hard hit and has counties that are their school systems, because that's the way they're impacted. Palm Beach County did just issue a mandatory mask for everyone.
And the superintendent of public instruction wants masks on everyone all the time. I don't know what authority or power she has to make that happen. don't think any, but, I'm not surprised to hear that from her in any event, but, like I said, we can just stick with our plan, and if things take a turn for the worse, we can always
Well,
adjust at that
keep
point.
in mind, they're recommended, and if there's parents out there that want their kids masks, they can wear masks.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
it's their free will and the
Yeah.
option to make that choice. But then there's parents that don't want their kids to have masks, well, we're okay.
I mean, the primary recommendation for masks are those that are unvaccinated, but
Which
with
is
kids,
like
they
12
don't,
under.
yeah, with kids, it's a little bit harder to mandate that, but the issues with the kids are less severe than with the adults.
And we have a very high rate of vaccination among our educators,
Yep.
which is also
Yeah, yeah.
good for the kids.
Now, what I heard today, is that if you're vaccinated, you may not get it, but you can still spread it.
Which is what they've said since the beginning.
Yeah,
Yeah, so.
but I guess, I guess I just don't know where it's gonna end. I mean, this is not gonna be the last variant.
No, that's
I just,
This is like.
I know we want kids to spend the rest of their lives with masks.
Any further discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, C, consider a motion to approve the bipolar generator.
I'm on this one. I'm gonna make the motion to approve the bipolar generator and the HVAC at Eagle Elementary.
I will second that.
Any questions or further discussion?
Do we have a total amount that it's not to exceed?
Yes, I don't have the paperwork with me, but I do recall it wasn't going to exceed the monies we had in the COVID one.
Okay, I just wondered if we needed that as part of our motion to not exceed, because as it is, it's kind of,
We had a bid on it.
Yeah,
I
we had
just
numbers.
I just not recall the number up,
okay.
We had a quote and estimate of bids.
Any further questions? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. D, consider a motion to approve the second reading of the revisions of policy 5112.
I'll make a motion to consider the approval of the second reading of the revisions of policy 5112, entrance age.
I will second that.
We approved the first reading last time. Any further questions or discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. District administrators and business managers reports.
Basically, I think that the primary work has been on audit and budget forecasting, and, we know the big pieces of the budget, we just need to get that good foundation put in place. As well, I'm working on, some level of, I guess, I'll call it strategic planning, even though I don't necessarily like the term, but strategic doing plan, for the academics and operational side as well. I need to work with some other people, and again, I think, we've had some vacations going on the last few weeks, so hopefully by next week, we'll have everyone back, and I can sit down with the administration and kind of hash out just some basic draft, which then we can share with the board on the 23rd.
Yeah, I don't have much except for piggyback on the audit stuff, just waiting to hear back from them, so we can get more rolling with the budget. And it'll be nice for Shelley to start, I believe next week, actually, so.
So the audit is complete, or they're
well,
done here, they're just.
They've done as much field work as they can do. My guess is they're gonna have to come back, because again, prior to that, Brad, a lot of things were let go. Some of the reconciliations we were told that were completed were not. So there's some things that they really have to get taken care of. I think they're done now, but I'm just saying that they'll have to come back and test those once they're ready to.
Any other questions for Brad or Todd?
No.
All right. Announcements. board comments.
Quite the storm tonight.
Yeah, thanks for sticking with us with the power outage.
Yeah, it's the first board meeting
Yeah.
I've done.
since Tara's not here, I'm gonna tell her that Bee did, pancakes for Panthers on last Saturday. And it seemed to be pretty successful. I don't know, I haven't heard what the amount was that he raised, but it's something I think he wants to do again. It was kind of the gentleman that has the big pool, round thing that he does from the airport came and did that. And we suggested maybe, because it could have been bigger, is that maybe to do it when school starts so that parents are maybe around. I think a lot of people are on vacation. Those would be with kids might, give them, so if B wants to continue it, I think there should be some thought in terms of maybe one, it could draw more people.
Is there somebody there sending pictures to random phone numbers?
Was it?
Oh, me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got him too, so
How'd you
did
get my
I.
phone number?
Yeah.
No, no.
let me think.
So crazy.
She knows it, exactly, she knows everybody.
I didn't know the people were sitting in there.
Yeah.
All right, just a few things.
Pancake thing.
It was nice.